Patch 2.6 is arriving pretty much soon, and with that, Venti, our drunk bard, is finally getting his appearance once again after a year of disappearance. Now, there has been a lot of talk on how Venti was pretty much nerfed in some of the most recent patches, making it seem that there is almost no value that Venti can provide at this point. But is that really the case? Is Venti no longer good? Well, in this video, I'll be going through the top 10 reasons indicating that Venti is still a very valuable asset and an amazing member for your accounts, so that first of all we can give him some love, but more importantly provides everyone with the positive sides of perspective about Venti to help you make a better decision on this character. Now, if you're new to the channel, I usually do monthly giveaway on our Discord server, including character giveaway, so if you're interested, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join our Discord server to enter. With that, let's just jump into the video. The first and number one reason being that Venti is still the best crowd control in the game. If you think about crowd control and talk about it, the first character that comes to mind is Venti. He is just that good. No other anemo character in the game till now can beat Venti in terms of crowd control. We do have Kazuha and Sucrose who can do a little bit of crowd control, however they are not as good as Venti. Well, for one reason is probably because that he is an Archon, and generally Archon has something that they do best in. However, with this ability, it does leave Venti in quite what's called a niche support, because his main role in the team is generally to provide crowd control. However, that's not a bad thing, because niche support characters are always good because they will always find their usage under the right circumstances. Number two is that Venti can basically fit into any team, because first of all he is an anemo character, and anemo character can be used in any team to provide support in terms of elemental particles, and because they have access to 4-piece Viridescent, it gives very valuable resistant elemental shred to your team as well as additional swirl damage. But more than that, with the addition of being the best crowd control character in the team, that ability gives Venti a boost when trying to make a decision having an anemo character on the team. Well, even though I do say that Venti can be fit into any team, he wouldn't really work well with a Geo and physical team, so you can keep that in mind. However, if you still need his ability to crowd control, then still Venti is going to be very valuable. Third is that he is very easy to play and build. He's really free to play friendly because most of the time he's not going to be a DPS character in the team, so support is all he is going to be doing. You usually just goes in, tap his E skills for generating elemental particles as well as 4-piece Viridescent activation, and then after that you press his burst for crowd controlling the enemies. And also, since he is a support character, you will generally not be building crit on Venti anyway, and normally Venti is going to be focusing on building elemental mastery artifacts. Usually people ask which build is going to be better on Venti. Is it going to be EM build or crit build? How I mean crit build is that you're going to be building him as if he's a normal DPS, in which I would say both builds are quite similar. The only time when crit build is going to be outdoing damage than EM build is when you're having very invested crit build up to at least over 200% crit damage and like 60% crit rate. But in a realistic build, then EM and crit build are very similar. However, I just normally choose go with EM artifacts because it's just easy to build around with. Fourth is that Venti's rerun is not going to be coming back anytime soon because he is already on his third rerun. So if you are going to be missing on Venti this time around, he's probably not going to be back at least over a year, as many new characters are also coming and then also waiting for their rerun at the same time. Fifth is, as you have probably known, Venti just makes your exploration a lot easier, and he's one of the few characters in the game who is able to do this very well. He has access to his E skill that boosts you up very high when you're trying to climb off cliff, or flight stamina decrease helps you to have flight time much longer, and also with Venti you can sprint hop to travel much faster and further distances. Sixth is about the Abyss 2.6. Now, as you have probably already have known, Venti usage has pretty much plummeted during the past few Abyss because there's almost no enemies that he can make use of in terms of crowd control. So that's one of the main reasons why Venti has been considered to be not a very valuable character. However, However, if you're going to be thinking deeply about this, since Venti is going to make his rerun, there's almost a 100% chance that MiHoYo will make the Abyss so that it's very favorable Venti. I'm pretty sure in 2.6 they're going to be giving us like a lot of enemies that can be crowd control so that Venti can shine. Otherwise, what's the point of having his rerun when he still have no value in the Abyss, right? And whenever MiHoYo do this, you will seriously need Venti, just like how it was in the past. Whenever there was the Abyss that needed Venti, your life is just going to be much easier if you have him in the team. So don't worry, Venti is definitely going to have his time to shine, at least in patch 2.6. However, there's also something that you need to consider as well, is that it is not just about the Abyss, but it's also about in everyday normal gameplay as well as artifact and talent domain. Venti is absolutely fantastic and is still usable. Let's not always think about the Abyss because, you know, there's the open world gameplay and the domain that you have to do, and normally these domain have a lot of enemies that can be crowd control. Therefore, if you're not focusing on the Abyss, then Venti is pretty much always valuable in most of the game content. Furthermore, the Kazim is going to be making its appearance in patch 2.6. Who knows if we have a lot of plays that we need to climb and need the help of Venti. Therefore, he's going to be valuable during the gameplay section of the open world as well. Number 8 is that for anyone who's wondering if Venti and Kazuha is better, I would say that these two characters are not always exchangeable. What I mean by that is that Kazuha is not considered as a better version of Venti. First of all, because if we're looking at the Abyss, you will always need two teams. Therefore, if both of the team actually demands an emo character, then you would need at least two animo characters. And there you go, Venti and Kazuha can be on separate teams. However, as we've known, Venti shines in crowd control. Now we do know that Kazuha can crowd control. However, in situation when there's a lot of enemies that needs to be crowd control, Kazuha cannot keep up with Venti. Therefore, Venti will always outperform Kazuha in terms of crowd control. And as we've already talked about in patch 2.6 Abyss, there might probably be a lot of flaw where we need crowd control. And be able to make use of this ability will have a huge difference in terms of clear time. And then of course, there are also people who pulls character because they love them. And for me, I would say Venti is one of the most enjoyable character in the game, not just because of his gameplay in terms of his very good burst animation, but his story and character is very interesting whenever you get to interact with him. He's a very joyful character, very carefree, and I feel I usually have a very enjoyable time when he appears in the storyline. While we haven't seen him in story for quite some time, I don't know if he's going to make an appearance in patch 2.6. I hope he does because MiHoYo have shown him in the 2.6 livestream. But either way, if you've already someone who loves Venti, then making the decision to pull for him is almost already guaranteed. And then number 10 is that if you're someone who is an Archon Collector, then definitely Venti is a plus for you to pull. Because of course, we only have, I would say, 7 Archon in the game, and there's like 1 Archon every single year. So, you know, saving up the Primo Gems for collecting the Archon is a fun decision to make. But more than that, every Archon in the game till now have some unique ability. For example, we already know Venti is best with crowd control, where Zhongli is best with shield, and Raiden Shogun is just an amazing electro DPS while providing your team a lot of particles and elemental burst damage at the same time. So personally, I see that Venti is still a very good character. I wouldn't say that he's going to be kind of a timeless character because we've already known that he's really dependent on MiHoYo giving him good Abyss to perform very well. But he is a character that's going to be good for a very long time because I can't see any character beating Venti in a crowd control situation anytime soon. So guys, that's my 10 reasons for you to pull for Venti. I hope that you have found the video helpful. Now, if you are still wondering whether to pull for Ayato, Venti or Ayaka, then I have a video diving in depth into that. I'm sure that it's going to be helpful to you also and gets you the best decision possible. If you've enjoyed the video guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for a lot of giveaway and more content. With that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on the next video.